In today's class, we are going to discuss about Unit 3 of Artificial Neural Networks. Now we are in Unit 3 of Artificial Neural Network. That is about single layer perceptron. So first of all, we are going to know the definition of a perceptron. What is a perceptron here? A perceptron is a neural network unit. What it is? It is a neural network unit, or you may call an artificial neuron that does certain computations to detect features in the input data. Okay, assume this is one neuron, right? This neuron may perform some kind of computations, okay, to produce some kind of output. That is called, this particular neuron is called a perceptron. It may take some inputs, okay, and based on these inputs, it may perform some kind of computations internally, okay, then it would produce some data, okay. That is it is one kind of artificial neuron, is called a perceptron here. Perceptron is a neural network unit or an artificial neuron. Assume this is one artificial neuron that does perform or certain computations. It's going to perform some certain computations, okay, to detect the features in the input data. So some kind of things we are going to perform based on input data, okay, that would be done in this particular perceptron, done at this particular neuron. This kind of neuron is called a perceptron here, okay. And perceptron was introduced by Frank Rosenblatt in 1957, okay. This perceptron was introduced by Frank Rosenblatt in 1957. This particular rule is called perceptron learning rule. Okay, it was developed one learning rule. That learning rule name is called a perceptron learning rule, right? A perceptron is an algorithm. Which kind of algorithm it is? It is a supervised learning algorithm of binary classifier. Okay, it produces the output. It produces the output in the form of binary results. What is the binary result gives? It may produce only two kind of results. That is either one is yes or second one is no. Or you may go for 0 or 1. That kind of results are going to produced by these perceptrons. Okay, it gives only output in the form of two classifiers, binary classifier, that is called binary classifiers here, right? And this algorithm enables neurons to learn and process elements in the training set one at a time. For example, we have multiple number of elements are there, okay. So before going to that this step, first of all, which kind of computation it is going to perform, in the sense, okay, here this perceptron is going to perform some kind of computation. It is going to perform the computation like classification kinds of computation is going to perform at this perceptron. Okay, the resultant of that particular computation in the form of only in the form that is only binary classifiers, okay. It's doing the computation of classification. Classification in the sense, if you will find one data object, okay, you are going to tell the object is belongs to belongs to which group, isn't it? What is the classification here? Under the classification, okay, you based here, if you'll find one object, something new object, okay, based on that features, you are going to identify that particular object is belonging to which group, isn't it? Such kind of computations are going to perform at this perceptron here, right? And at the output, it would give only two kinds of results. This belongs to this group or that group, or yes or no kind of questions, isn't it? So, and here, this algorithm enables neurons to learn and process elements in the training set one at a time. For example, you may have the multiple number of items, okay, under one table. So at a time you can send only one data, one object or one data value to identify which is belongs to which group, that is belongs to which group, like that. At a time you are going to test only one value. Okay, so this is the perceptron, and there are two types of perceptrons are there. The first one is single layer perceptron, and coming to the second one is multi-layer perceptron here. Okay, there are two kinds of perceptrons are there. First one is the single layer, and coming to the second one is multi-layer. Single layer perceptrons can learn only linearly separable patterns, right? And multi-layer perceptrons are also called as feed-forwarded neural networks. Okay, multi-layer perceptrons are also called as feed-forwarded neural network with two or more layers. With two or more layers have the greater processing power. Okay, here we are having two types of perceptron. First one is single layer perceptron. Now we are in the third unit. In this third unit, completely we are going to learn about only single layer perceptrons. So what is a single layer perceptron? First of all, a single layer perceptron in the sense, here we are going to consider, we are going to take only one layer. Only one layer. So in that layer only we are going to perform some computations, isn't it? In that layer only we are going to perform. The single kind of architecture we have discussed in earlier sections, isn't it? In the single layer only we have, suppose assume that here multiple number of, assume, okay. Okay, this is x1 and this is x2 here. These are the, okay, input nodes or input neurons, and here you have two output neurons, y1, y2. Okay, in this diagram you have two input neurons and two output neurons are there, isn't it? So this kind of network is called a single layer network. Why? Because the single layer network here, this part is the input layer, and this part is the input layer, and this part is the output layer. So in this architecture, the input layer is negligible. In this architecture, this part x1 x2 part input layer is negligible. Why? Because in this input layer, in this layer, we are not going to perform any kind of computations. Okay, at this part we are not going to perform any kind of computations here. That's why this input layer part is negligible in this architecture. Here we are going to consider only the output neurons. At this output neurons only we are going to perform all the computations at this part, and will get directly outputs. Will get directly outputs here. That's why these neurons only these neurons are going to perform any kind of computations by taking these input values. Okay, I mean the values from these input signals, isn't it? This x1 may produce some weights also. Here you may have some weights. Each and every input signal or input neuron should have some corresponding weight. That through that weights only this y1 y2 is going to perform some kind of computations or actions. Finally they'll produce some kind of output, right? So here only we are considering the output layer. So that's why this total network is called a single layer network. Now also we are going to discuss this part, single layer perceptron. Clear? So right, the next step is the single layer perceptron. Now we are going to discuss about single layer perceptron. The single layer perceptron is used for classification of linear patterns. What we are going to do with this single layer perceptron? We are going to perform the classification of linear patterns. For example, suppose here we may have some data points. Okay, assume these are some data points, and also here we have some other data points, right? Okay, here two kinds of data points are available under a single attribute. How we are going to identify or classify these all the attributes? Here you are going to perform. We need to perform some classification under all these data points. So based on a single line, okay, if you can draw one line in between these 2 points, a linear line in between these 2 kinds of data points, okay, then that is a identification of, see, okay, by drawing a single linear line in between this kind of patterns and this kind of patterns, I have separated these 2 patterns by drawing a single line. This kind of separation or this kind of thing is called a single layer perceptron. Okay, single layer perceptron is used for classification, okay, of linear patterns here, right? So, and the single, and one more point, the perceptron is single perceptron is simple form of neural network and able to classify data and able to classify data into two classes. Those are input class and the output class. Okay, input class and the output class. Is it clear? So first of all, single layer perceptron. The single layer perceptron is, it is going to classify the data object, okay, by drawing a single linear line between those data object is called a single layer perceptron. Okay, here the each and every perceptron, okay, can classify the data into two classes. Those are the input and the output. Every perceptron can classify the data into two classes. What are those? First one is input class, second one is the output class. Okay, it consists of single neuron, number of adjustable weights and bias. Okay, if you will take a single perceptron, right? Single neuron. That single neuron may have a adjustable weights and bias. Clear? Right. If you'll observe this diagram, okay, this diagram is for the basic architecture of your neural network. Under this, here we are having some input neurons. Those input neurons are x1, x2, xn. So these input neurons are having some corresponding weights w1, w2, wn, and so on. These weights are going to, okay, add by using, this is the function, summation function. Here you are going to add all these weights, okay, with which based on this input, okay, input node, input signal. And also here we are going to add some bias value to this summation function. Okay, by if you will get the 0 in some cases to, or as a output, to overcome that, here we are going to apply some bias to this particular summation function. Okay, there is a special thing is there for bias. Why are we using this bias? In the sense, if sometimes all the input signals weights are 0, automatically the summation unit produce the 0 as output result. So in neural network we won't get, I mean, we are not entertained to get the result as 0. Okay, to overcome that, here we are going to apply one bias value. That bias, you may set maximum, this bias value is 1. Sometimes you may set it is to 0 also. If you have a corresponding word and expected weights are there for this network. Okay, so if you will observe this particular formula, this is the formula for summation function. What is it? What it is? Y in equal to bias. This is the bias, right? Bias plus sigma I equal to 1 to n, okay, of x. X in the sense, this just input node, xi into wi, corresponding weights. This is the formula at this function. Now this is the, okay, this is a threshold function, or you may represent by this threshold function by using theta. This is the threshold function or activation function here. How you are going to find out the y here? Y equal to, this is the final one, y equal to f of yn, right? Right, this is the activation function. Y in, this is the Y in, right? F of y equal to f of y in is the final outcome of this particular unit network, right? Now we are going to see the algorithm of, right? Just see the algorithm of learning perceptron. Okay, what is the algorithm for this learning perceptron in the sense? First step is initialize weights and bias. Initially it can be 0. We should initialize the weight and bias initially with 0 and set learning rate alpha is 0 to 1. So previously the learning rate will be represented by using neta. Okay, in previous classes we have used one symbol called neta symbol that is used to represent the learning rate. Now the learning rate is represented by using alpha here, right? Don't confuse. And it is 0 to 1. Okay, next second step is while stopping condition is false, which means stopping condition is true means we should stop the tracing the algorithm, or we are going to stop the process, isn't it? But the stopping condition is false, then what we have to do step 3 to step 7. Okay, and next step 3, for each training pair, for each and every individual value, that is S colon T, do steps 4 to 6 for each training pair. At a time you can take at a time you can take one value, no? So for that value you need to perform 4 to 6 steps here. And step 4 is set activations of input units. Set activations of input units. Okay, xi equal to sj. Here we have taken for a single training set. Here we have represented s, no? So this xi, which means this input node, is taking the value from a training set. After that I equal to 1, right? Next one, compute the output until response. We should compute the output until get the response for this one. Okay, so for that computation, okay, you have to do this kind of things. First one is for 5th step. Now we are in 5th step. Net input y input equal to this one. Okay, the activation function is used. The activation function is used y equal to f of y in, that equal to, it is 1. When it is 1, if y in is greater than theta. What is theta here? It is a threshold function. The threshold function of that particular network is represented by using theta here. The value of theta, okay, is less than y in, or y in is greater than the theta, then you can represent by using 1. Okay, if the, so otherwise 0. Okay, the y in is in between minus theta and theta, then you can represent it by using 0. And if it is -1, when y in is less than minus theta, then you can represent by using these values 1, 0, -1. Okay, these are the activations functions which are used in this particular algorithm. And next, 6th step. 6th step is the weights and bias are updated if the target is not equal to the output response. Here you are going to have one more word is target. What is the target here? Okay, target in the sense that is a expected outcome. Y is the general outcome. There is a you can find one more outcome, that is expected or desired. Okay. In error correction learning algorithm also we have seen that desired output, isn't it? That is desired output is represented by using D. That is also called as the expected output. That expected output is called here target. Okay. The target value is not equal to the general response. If T, target output, is represented by using T, T is not equal to a Y, and and value of X I not equal to 0, then you need to go for a changing of weights. You need to update the weights. If those are not equal, if those are equal, no need to do anything. If T is targeted, expected outcome is not equal to a actual outcome. Expected outcome is not equal to actual outcome, then you should perform the updating of the weight as well as updating of the bias here. Okay, this is weight updation formula. Already it is learned in some delta rule. Okay, almost we have seen the delta rule. Even Hebbian learning algorithm also, the same formula will be repeated, isn't it? So same, and here you need to update the bias value also. You need to perform these two steps if T is not equal to Y, right? Otherwise, else, same, you can take the old values only, right? And coming to the step 7, step 7 is test for stopping condition. Again, check whether this needs to stop or continue. Okay, here you need to perform the testing operation, okay, of that particular network values. This is the 7 steps, right? And now here we are going to take one example, okay, for algorithm explanation. First of all, step 1, initially we need to take the weights and bias both are 0. Okay, W1 is 0, W2, two weights here I'm going to consider, take, and bias 0, and X1 is one input, X2 is another input signal, another neuron. Okay, two neurons, those corresponding weights, and also the threshold value also here I have taken as 0, and the learning rate is alpha in the sense neta equal to 1. These are the initial values which I am taking, okay, to substitute in the previous algorithm, isn't it? So second step is begin the computation, and the third step is for input pair 1, 1. First one is X1, second one is X2. For input pair X1, X2, do step 4 to 6. 4 to 6. Okay, next, set activations of input units Xi equal to, these are the input units. Already we know this one, these are the pair now. So X1, X2, and calculate the net input. For fifth one, here we are going to calculate Y input. What is Y input? Y input equal to B plus bias plus, okay, X1 into W1 plus X2 into W2. So what is the bias value? Initially I have taken 0. 0 plus, what is the X1 value? X1 value is 1. Okay. See, okay, this is the 0. This is the bias value is 0. Next, what is X1 value? X1 value is 1. This X1 value is 1 here. Next, W1 value is 0. W1 value is 0 here. Right. Like that. X2 value is 1. Same. The input initial values I have taken here. And W2 is 0. So same 0 is represented. So if you calculate this total, then you will get the answer is 0. Okay, what is your y input? Y input value is 0 here, right? After calculating the y input, so this is the y input, that is 0 value, right? After calculating this, if you find the f of y in also, you will get 0, isn't it? Next, check the sixth step. What is our sixth step? In sixth step, we are going to check, okay, whether t and y both are same or not. Okay, our t value is 1, our target value or expected value is 1, but actual value, whatever we have received through this function, 0, no? So the actual value is 0, but the expected target value is 1. Whether these two are equal? No, these two are not equal. Then what we have to do here? We can go to update the weights and bias value. How we are going to update the weights of this particular network? First one, W1 of new equal to new weight equal to W1 of old weight plus, I mean, it may be a formula. Okay, W1 of old weight plus it's alpha into T into X1, right? What is the W1 of old weight? W1 of old weight is 0. Alpha value is 1. Here T value is also 1. X1 value is also 1. So finally W1 equal to 1. The result of W1 is equal to 1. 0 plus 1, 1, right? So in the same way, we are going to change the bias value also. Bias of new equal to bias of old plus, okay, alpha into T. What is the bias of old? It's 0, isn't it? The bias value, the old bias value is 0 here. Alpha value is 1 and this target value is 1. So finally 0 plus 1, 1. Now W1 value is 1, bias value is 1. What about W2 value? What about W2 value here? Now you are going to calculate W2 here. See, W2 also you will get same 1. Now 1 is for W1, bias is 1 and also W2 is also 1. Now we are going to check, okay, after W1 and W2 updation and also B value, then you are going to check again Yn. Okay, so Yn in the sense B plus X1 into W1, X2 into W2. B is 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 1 into 1. Finally, we'll get the Yn value is 0. 3, sorry, it's 3. Right? After this, now apply activation function. Apply activation function. In this activation function, y equal to f of yn. F of yn equal to, this is the yn value, right? F of yn, that is equal to 1. Okay, since now y equal to 1 and t equal to 1, both are same. Then this is the testing and stopping condition. Okay. So no need to perform continuation. By this we have finished off this explanation, first problem 1. In this way you may check for multiple number of values, okay, in the same algorithm, right? Thank you.